Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. A very warm welcome to you all on behalf of the IPB events team. We are very much looking forward to supporting you during today's IPB webinar, Global Launch of the White Paper on Eye Health in China.
Ni hao. Good afternoon, friends. It is just after 4 p.m. in Beijing on the 17th of December 2020, and I'm sure you, like me, would love to be with our friends in Beijing for this afternoon's meeting. Of course, in this year of 2020, a year we will never forget, nothing has gone to plan, and it is not possible for us to all be together. However, despite this, 2020 has produced some triumphs. One of those is the White Paper on Eye Health in China. The White Paper is only published once every 5 years, so it's a very, very important occasion that reports back on the successes and challenges and looks ahead to the coming period. As the global peak body in eye health, IAPB is very pleased to have been invited by the National Committee for the Prevention of Blindness in China to co-host today's launch. It is indeed an honour, and I thank, on behalf of IAPB, Professor Wang-Ning Li and his office for inviting us to co-host. It is also a fitting testimony to our many, many years of friendship. IAPB's motto, as many of you will be aware, is stronger together. In China, we know that we have strong partnerships and even stronger friendships. Of course, this year we not only celebrate a successful conclusion to the 13th five-year plan, but we also celebrate the end of the Vision 2020 period. So it's very auspicious that we have with us to begin this afternoon's proceedings, Director Hu Ziyang of the General Department, Bureau of Medical Administration, National Health Commission. Please, we would like to warmly welcome Director Hu Ziyang.
尊敬的各位与会嘉宾、女士们、先生们，首先，我谨代表国家卫生健康委员会医政医管局对各位参会人员表示热烈欢迎，也十分感谢大家对中国眼健康工作的关心和支持。眼健康涉及全年龄段人群的全生命周期，包括盲在内的视觉损伤，严重影响人们的身体健康和生活质量，加重家庭和社会的负担。中国是世界上盲和视觉损伤人数最多的国家之一，眼健康工作一直受到政府、行业和社会的高度关注。1999年，世界卫生组织和国际防盲协会提出“视觉2020享有看见的权利”全球行动倡议，旨在消除可避免盲。对此，中国政府作出庄严承诺，并以此为目标推动相关工作。我们在政府主导、多方参与的工作格局下，连续制定防盲和眼健康事业规划，明确不同阶段的主要任务和措施，加强顶层设计，不断完善眼健康管理体系、技术指导体系和服务体系，加强眼科资源和能力建设。同时，在不同时期以白内障、儿童青少年近视、沙眼、低视力等眼病防治为切入点，提升人民群众眼健康水平。2020年是特殊的一年，它是视觉2020行动倡议的收官之年。在此，全国防盲技术指导组编撰发布了《中国眼健康白皮书》，旨在全面介绍中国眼健康事业发展的现状，以及在视觉2020行动倡议中所做出的努力与所取得的成果。白皮书今年6月6日在我国全国爱眼日已经正式发布。那今天呢，我们将中国的眼健康白皮书的英文版正式在全球发布。随着人口老龄化加剧，经济社会快速发展，人民生活方式转变，年龄相关性眼病、代谢相关性眼病、高度近视引发的眼底病变正日益凸显，已成为中国当前主要的致盲性眼病。 我们正在研究编制“十四五”，也就是未来5年我们国家的眼健康规划。我们将进一步完善3级防盲治盲和眼健康服务体系，加强基层眼科专业队伍建设，建立眼科医疗质量控制体系，推动眼科医疗服务高质量发展，努力满足人们不断提高的眼健康需求。同时，我们在研究编制中国的眼健康规划的时候呢，我们也认真地对照世界卫生组织以及防盲协会对于世界各国的这些眼健康的一些要求，我们也体现在我们未来的这个工作中。在此，我也想要特别感谢世界卫生组织和国际防盲协会对此次发布会的大力支持。世界卫生组织和国际防盲协会长期以来与中国防盲和眼健康工作者积极开展合作，促进双方交流。希望我们今后能继续合作，为中国和全球的眼健康事业发展做出新的贡献。最后，我也诚挚地感谢全国眼科的同仁在中国眼健康工作中所做的努力和贡献。预祝此次发布会圆满成功，谢谢大家。
Thank you very much, Director Hu, for those kind words of introduction today. I would now like to call on our very good friend, Professor Wang Ningli from Beijing Tongren Hospital, and of course, the head of the Chinese National Committee for the Prevention of Blindness. Please welcome Professor Wang Ningli.
Thank you, my distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. We are honored and much delighted to have Director Hu with us here today to celebrate for this exciting event. Chinese government has always attached great importance to the health and people's and invested a lot into the improve people's eye health through various policy and projects. I would also like to thank the speakers and the representatives from the WHO, IAPB, vision loss expert group, and leading eye care experts in China, not only for their presence today, but also for their long-term commitment and devotion to the promotion of the eye health in China. 2020 has been an unusual year. We have faced a lot of difficulties due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and many of us are still struggling to adapt. However, dealing with these challenges did not stop us from making our share of the efforts to continuously advance the eye health work in China. 2020 is the final year of the Vision 2020 Global Initiative, and it also marks the end of the 13th five-year plan. And more importantly, this is the start of the 14th five-year plan. To build on what we have accomplished and to better prepare the remaining challenges we are faced with, under the support of the Bureau of the Medical Administration of National Health Commission, National Committee for the Prevention of the Blindness, prepared the white paper on the eye health in China to summarize the progression we made and to shed light on what next step should be. Though this year, due to the pandemic, we are not able to hold the physical event and see each other in person. It is still very great to have the manager to hold an online event and celebrate the progression we made with all of you. Last but not the least, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who helped organize this online event. Thank you very much for your hard work. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Professor Wang, for those kind words and that excellent introduction to this evening's proceedings. As you mentioned, this is celebrating the end of the 13th year plan and also the end of the Vision 2020 period. So it's absolutely fitting that we have with us, coming all the way from France to join our meeting, a long-term friend of yourself in China and of our many friends and partners in China, one of the architects of the Vision 2020 campaign, Professor Serge Reznikov.
Thank you, Chair. Ni hao, and hello, everyone. Let me first start by expressing my very sincere gratitude to the organizers of this event, and particularly to Professor Wong-Ming Lee, the director of the editorial board of the white papers on our health in China, for inviting me to share a few comments on Vision 2020 in China, and also kind of beyond China, maybe a little bit. And I mean, honestly, there is no better country than China to talk about Vision 2020, the global elimination of avoidable blindness by the year of 2020, because China has been the first country in the world where Vision 2020 was launched at a national level as well as the regional level for Western Pacific region in September 99. And that was actually at the occasion of the IPB General Assembly that was held in Beijing. So what a wonderful symbol. And thank you for organizing this event. And I must say that China has always been at the forefront of Vision 2020 and eye care development in general. Vision 2020 inspired, I think, the content of a series of the five years national plans for the prevention of blindness in China. And China has been also the pioneer, actually, of the integration of eye care within general health services and the development of primary eye care at the primary healthcare level. Vision 2020, I think, had also multiple important impacts. For example, a series of epidemiological surveys that were carried out throughout China. Also something that I think has been quite unique in the world, actually, a national survey on eye care resources. And I mean, that was an incredible exercise given the size of the country. But I mean, epidemiological surveys, surveys on resources also allow China to have a much better planning and priority setting, which led to the impressive achievements, such as, for example, this is just some examples, the development of eye care services, particularly at the county level hospitals, where cataract surgery was developed. Also an impressive increase in the cataract surgical rate from around 300 in 1999 to close to 2,000 now, and this is more than a 6-fold increase. Last but not the least, among the things that I would like to mention is the elimination of trachoma as a public health problem. And trachoma was one of the conditions that was targeted by Vision 2020, and elimination was evidenced by a series of surveys in 2014 that I had a great privilege to be involved in, and officially announced by the representative of China, the World Health Assembly, in 2015. And all this happened because of a very strong support of the government at all level of the government, whether it's national or provincial or county level or municipal leaders, but also because of the involvement of outstanding ophthalmic leaders that are with us today. And it's great to kind of meet virtually today. They have been the architects of the success. And I mean, honestly, Vision 2020 is also about partnerships. And I'm not talking only about partnerships with organizations such as the World Health Organization, professional organizations, NGOs, CDPF, etc. But I think equally important has been, and perhaps even more important, is the strong, long-standing, unfailing friendship between all those involved within China and beyond China, and who are present today. I deeply regret that we cannot celebrate your achievements and our friendship in person, face to face. And I look forward to the time when we'll all be able to meet in person and continue our collaboration in China and outside China again as well. Thank you again for the honor and the pleasure of talking to you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Resnikoff. It's very fitting that after Professor Resnikoff gave us that global perspective, that we now switch to the IAPB Regional Chair for the Western Pacific, Ms. Amanda Davis. Ms. Davis looks after the 35 countries of the Western Pacific for IAPB, one of which, of course, and one of the linchpins of the region is China. So, Ms. Davis, welcome.
Thanks very much, Drew. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today. Such an important event, the launch of this white paper. And I just want to, I guess, grab onto something that Serge just said about outstanding leadership and the leadership of people in China that have created such an important document that not only evaluates sort of the past successes, but also looks forward and plans for the future. So the architects of the success and recognizing that the leadership is coming from a place of expertise, dedication, commitment and hard work. And I just want to particularly recognize one leader here today. And if you'll just indulge me for a couple of minutes, I just would like to talk about Professor Wang Mingli. He has dedicated huge efforts in blinding trachoma elimination and reducing blindness rate of cataract. In 2012, he's one of the co-leaders of the Sight First China Action Project, leading the project on the screening, treatment and evaluation of trachoma in China. Indeed, he's personally visited remote areas with the most severe water shortages and the worst hygiene conditions. He was awarded for this achievement of an award of eliminating blinding trachoma for that contribution. And as deputy head in 2009 and head in 2017 of the Expert Advisory Committee, he participated in 2 national cataract projects, benefiting nearly 2 million patients. He also led the preparation of cataract operation specifications and quality control standards, and actively promoted the incorporation of cataract surgery into national basic medical insurance. He made a great contribution in incorporating myopia control into national strategy, especially with the Anyang Childhood Eye Study. He led providing solid data and epidemiological evidence for policymaking. Furthermore, he's the head of the NCPB Myopia Control Expert Group and assisted the government in preparing technical guidance, FAQs, and manuals for myopia control. He's developed wearable devices which act as critical interventions in myopia prevention. He led the China Visual Impairment Resource Center to carry out low vision rehabilitation work nationwide, including holding training courses and forums for over 300 people nationwide, with over 1,000 ophthalmologists participating and benefiting from these forums. Professor Wong has actively promoted the establishment of 3-tier blindness prevention networks, national, provincial, municipal management system, and county, township, and village eye care network, thereby integrating primary eye care into the primary health care. Apart from regular training courses, he founded the Beijing Tongren Charity Foundation, supporting training of eye care personnel at a primary level. For example, the STEER project, launched in cooperation with NGOs, aims at improving eye care capacity of county-level hospitals. Currently, over 70 hospitals are enrolled with about 350 eye care personnel, 3,000 village doctors, and about 2,000 school teachers trained, and more than 830,000 people screened. His relentless efforts, surveys in 2006 and 2014 showed in the population over 50 years, prevalence of blindness decreased by 27% and prevalence of MSVI decreased by 16%. To properly summarize the efforts and achievements made under Vision 2020 initiative and to comprehensively introduce the current eye health situation in China, Professor Wang led the preparation of the white paper on eye health in China and launched it on National Eye Care Day in 2020. And we're very, very pleased to be here for the launch of the English paper today. But apart from his efforts in China, he's also actively engaged in various international research projects, such as the multi-center genetic study of primary angle closure glaucoma, the Asian Eye Epidemiology Consortium, the Vision Loss Expert Group of Global Burden of Disease, the Lancet Global Health Commission on Global Eye Health, sharing the perspectives and experience from China. So once again, as an outstanding leader from China, Professor Wang has shared that leadership with the rest of the world. So I am so honored today and so pleased to be able to announce that Professor Wang has been announced as one of the Vision Excellent awardees from the IAPB board, and I'd like to congratulate him on this very, very special award today. Congratulations, Professor Wang.
Professor Wang, congratulations. Thank you, Amanda, for that introduction. It's really an honor for all of us to be here today to see you presented with that award this afternoon. And I know that you now have a few remarks to lead into your presentation. Thank you, Professor Wang.
Thank you. 不用说。 Hard start. Ready? Ready.
Yes.
My chair, dear chair, can I start?
Yes, please. Is
Yes.
your
Yes.
yes, please do. Is your you've got your remote clicker working possibly so you can move your slides? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
okay.
Are you brilliant? Yeah. Over to you. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, thanks the board give me the award. So this honor not just belong to me, belong to the whole Chinese ophthalmologist and the eye health care workers and the experts. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to say thanks a lot. So I will start my talk. This is a good opportunity. Let me introduce what we have done, what is the achievement in the Vision 2020 in China. So for the Vision 2020, Renes Koff also mentioned that China is the first country in the Western Pacific regions to sign the declarations, and we this year is the final year of the Vision 2020. So we have to do the summary about what we have did. So for the Vision 2020, we have the very great target to elimination of the major causes of the avoidable blindness, cataract, trachoma, childhood blindness and low vision, refractive error. But for the fifth, in China, we have this kind of disease. So I will focus on the first four blind causes, what we did in China. First, let's see the cataract. Cataract, just like the Rainscoff mentioned, in the 1999, in that year, the CSR is quite low in China. It's around 300 to the 500. But let's to see these figures. By the year 2020 time, the numbers of CSR dramatically increased because in that time the government started the free surgery for the millions poor cataract patients project. And let's move to the year 2015. Another increase, dramatically increase, because the Chinese government started another project and the action. And the most important thing is the insurance, general insurance policy has been changed a lot. Everyone can enjoy the insurance, and it means the cataract surgery was covered by the general insurance. So this is the reason. By the end of this year, from the over calculations, the CSR almost come to the 3,500. But and another number is not here, but I should mention here, the coverage of the cataract surgery also increased dramatically. In the rural area, the coverage is come to the 60%. In the city, it's come to the 75%. And let's see the doctors who can operate the numbers of the doctor who can operate the cataract surgery is increased dramatically. By the year 2018, we got almost 14,000 doctors can operate the cataract surgery. But this year, the number increased dramatically. At least 60% of the ophthalmologists in China right now can perform the cataract surgery. And let's see the trachoma. When we talk the trachoma in the years 1949, before that, the trachoma is the first major leading cause of the blindness. The prevalence in the rural area in that year is around 90%. Even in some big city like the big city like the Shanghai, the prevalence it is come to the 50%. So from the 1915s, the government makes the great decisions to eliminate the trachoma in China. In that year, the Professor Tang Xiaofei and Dr. Zhang Xiaolou, both of them collaborated each other, isolated the trichomas virus. This means chlamydia. This is the first time confirmed the trachoma is caused by the chlamydia. So that is also is bigger contributions from Chinese ophthalmology to the whole world. And then from the 1950s and the 60s, we get the very good, very close collaborations with WHO. In China, we started the conducted the actions. The safer policies, safer strategies was widely used in China. And I have to mention that by the year 2011, with the help from the WHO, just like the Reinskopf, Dr. Ma, the group of the doctors, specialists from the WHO and the IPB help us to start the site first China action. The phase 3 elimination blending trachoma in China. So that is a 5 years plan, but with our efforts, we finished this action by the year 2014. And the head of the health administration, the Li Bing, announced this most important information to the whole world. And also we get the certification from the WHO. This means China gets the target elimination of the blending trachoma. Now let's move to the child blindness. The child blindness in China, let me see, 15 years or 20 years ago, the oxygen is abused. That caused the increased number of the ROP. The Chinese government, with professors, professional doctors' help, to make the guideline for treatment and for the guide the oxygen to how to use and the prevention of the ROP. So the number of the ROP is dramatically decreased in China. And also the government makes another policies, annual coverage of the rate of the eye care and eye examination for the year beyond the year under the 6th, child can have this test every year. This coverage is come to the 90%. Low vision and refractive errors. So for the low vision, China is a big low vision countries. Yeah, we have almost 13 million low visions in China. But so far, the Chinese government makes a very good plan. Right now, we have set up, established more than 1,000 vision rehabilitation facilities in the whole countries. And every year we have the training course for the low vision expert training course. So let's talk about the myopia. Myopia really becomes a big challenges in China. Last year, the year before last year, the Chinese government and our experts work together to have the nationwide survey. This survey is the number of the surveys come to the 1 million. From this survey, we get the number, get the prevalence about the myopia. The prevalence of the myopia right now is come to the 53.6% among the general population. And in the school, in the senior high school, the prevalence come to the 80%. So that becomes the major challenges in the Chinese people's eye health. Fortunately, the Chinese government makes great decisions. We will start in the whole nationwide for the myopia control. So we have the new target for the every cities every year. The myopia, the prevalence of myopia have to should be decreased by the 0.5 to 1%. And by the year 2030, the prevalence of the myopia in the high school should be lower, should be decreased to the 17%. So this is bigger and ambitious. So, but anyway, it is the most challenging and difficult things. But anyway, we start this action now. So finally, I would like to talk about the 3 core strategies of the Vision 2020. So for the disease control, we make the 2 type of the network. One is a national prevention municipal network, and another one is a county, township, village network. We put the network together and integrate this network to the general health care system to make our blindness prevention more functional. And let's see the human resources development. So by the year 2040s, we are from statistics and the survey, we found we can show us. So right now we have more than 40,000 eye doctors. This means we already have at least we have 1 eye doctors in 15,000 general people. So this meets the targets of the criteria from the WHO. But even we have enough number of the ophthalmologists, but unfortunately, the most of the ophthalmologists is working in the coast area, the city. So this makes the resources is very unbalanced. So let's see the optometrists. The number of the optometrists is quite low in China. So that is another challenge. We will make our plan for the 5 years plan to increase the numbers of the optometry in China. So here is not just increase the number of the ophthalmologists, also we increase the number of the nurses in the whole world, whole countries. And we have to focus on our target to the county hospitals. In the county level, the hospitals right now, 90% of the hospital already have the independent department of ophthalmology. So with the government's investment, so in the county level, the hospital already had what is the need for the basic service in eye care and ophthalmology. So finally, we should talk about the infrastructures and and the technology development. So right now in China, we have to make to reduce our burdens. We have to have the cheaper and high quality intraocular lens. We need some anti-VEGF make the price decrease. So the China government encourage the companies, the manufacturers to do some innovations, to develop some new device, drugs for the eye care. Right now, the AR screening system, there is, let me see, 3 software already approved by the CFDA. One is for the diabetes retinopathy, another one is for the glaucoma, and another one is for the comprehensive eye disease screening. So we hope this software can help us to finish our screening. So with the change of the life patterns, and the China becomes the aging society, so the disease, the blindness causing disease already changed. There are most of the blindness is caused by the chronic systemic disease, and most of the blindness causing is strongly related to the aging populations. So these are our challenges for our next 5 years plan. So in the previous work, we focused on the blindness and the vision impairment service. Right now, we will focus on our target to the risk population and our health general peoples. So right now we started the national survey of the ophthalmic resources. Every 2 years, we will have the new numbers to see the balance of the human's resources and the changes of the number of the optometrists. So in the over next 15th 5 years plan, we think about to do the integrations of the eye disease control into the national chronic disease management systems. And also we want to have 2 collaboration circles. One, it is internationally, just like the WHO, the IPB, and my older friends, and our friends among the Western Pacific regions. And also we need the domestically collaborations with the Chinese ophthalmological societies, Chinese doctors associations, and put all the organizations, the doctors together, work together. And this is my presentation about the white paper, because the time is limited. If you want to know the details, please to read our English version of the white paper. But and also I have several slides here, just quickly show us. Here is expert recommendations from the alleviating the burden of the eye disease causing blindness in China. This is some suggestions from our expertise. So the changes of the spectrum of the eye disease causing the blindness are closely related to the aging population and the increase the number of the chronic disease patients in China. And there are 5 major fundus disease which significantly threaten the vision without the intervention, just like diabetes retinopathies and AMD and retina veins occlusions, choroidal neovascularization, and high myopia. These 5 causes is the big challenges for our futures. And the disease burden of the glaucoma in China is serious with a lower diagnostic and treatment rate. Even the blindness of the glaucoma, the blindness caused by the glaucoma is dramatically decreased in angle current glaucoma, but still we have a higher blindness rate of the open angle glaucoma in China. And okay, so this one. And the year of the health life lost due to the disability due to the eye disease, which can cause blindness increased. Just like the year health, let me back. Here is an example. The China ranks number 2 among the G20 countries in terms of the old age YLDs due to the vision loss. And China ranks the number 3 among the G20 countries in terms of all ages YLDs due to the diabetes retinopathies. And the issue in the public awareness, screenings, infrastructures, and the delayed treatment for the fundus disease and glaucoma are notable in China. So the early screening and the treatment of the fundus disease and glaucoma can reduce the economic burden of the patients and the societies. Just like take examples, the glaucoma, in early stage, when we give the treatment, it is just spent among the eight American dollars. But if to the end of the stage of the glaucoma treatment, it is come to the 500 American dollars. So this is examples for the early screening and the early treatment. And also right now we have the AR systems and also the anti-VEGF drugs. Now it's available. The price is dramatically decreased in China. We get the opportunity to focus on the fundus disease and glaucoma. So recently, our teams make the suggestions and the recommendations to the central government. Hopes the Chinese government can set in a policy to focus on the chronic cause of the blindness, just like we mentioned the 5 disease, and to encourage the government to spend the money from the insurance to start the blindly screenings. And also we hope we can integrate the blindness, the major challenges blindness causes to the chronic diseases management systems. This is just the recommendations and the suggestions from one of the team from the Chinese Ophthalmologic Society. I just spent a couple of the minutes to show our friends here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Wang, for that enlightening presentation. It's really brilliant to see all of the success and progress coming out of China, and of course all of the fantastic data. And I must say, it would not be the year 2020 without us having a Zoom technical hiccup as part of a meeting. So thank you for bearing with us. I would now like to move on to our next presentation, which is particularly exciting, particularly as it leads on very nicely from the data information that Professor Wang presented. Many of you will have seen the new Vision Atlas launched by IAPB in the last few months. And of course, this Vision Atlas would not be possible without the incredible data collated by the Vision Loss Expert Group. This evening, we're delighted to have with us Professor Rupert Bourne, who has led the VLEG data collection since 2007. He will be presenting first, and then as part of this session, he will be leading on to Ms. Jude Stern, who is the IAPB Head of Knowledge and has been working tirelessly over the past year and a half to create the new version of the Vision Atlas. So without further ado, Rupert, can I ask you to present on the VLEG data?
Ni hao, hello. Thank you very much for the privilege of being part of this really important event. It's incredible to see the developments and the work that has been done within China in relation to vision loss and its alleviation. So I'm the lead for the Vision Loss Expert Group. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the contribution of data for China from the Global Vision Database. And I represent the Vision Loss Expert Group and a large list of individuals who are principally ophthalmic epidemiologists from around the world. So I'll tell you a bit about what we do and the Global Burden of Disease study. I'll talk a little bit about the global epidemiological transition, and you've seen some very interesting slides from Professor Wangning Li showing the aging distribution of within China, the Global Vision Database and the vision impairment and blindness data for China and East Asia, and then a little bit about how you access the data through the Lancet Global Health papers, and then Jude Stern will talk about the Vision Atlas project. So the Vision Loss Expert Group's been running for 13 years. It's important international collaboration, more than 100 members from around the world and several from China. We're supported by very generously by several organizations which are listed on this slide. And we supply the data for the World Report on Vision. This is the first report on vision from the World Health Organization, which came out last year. This is the data on the prevalence of vision impairment and blindness. We work closely with the GBD and the IAPB. Most importantly to us, we want to make sure this data is as accessible to as many people as possible, rather than just being published in scientific journals. And we've worked very hard over many years to improve accessibility to data. For example, this is a demonstration we did showing you, as you can see, the changes and reduction in blindness within countries, particularly within China over the last few years. What we do is we take all the population-based studies of the world, and we've done this for studies from 1980, and we check them for quality and methodology, and they're reviewed by our panels of regional members of the Vision Loss Expert Group. We feed that information into the Global Vision Database, and then we analyze the data. We supply the data to the Global Burden of Disease study, And what they do is they add a disability weight to the prevalence, and that allows them to calculate disability adjusted life years, or DALYs. These are important because these are the currency for measuring disease burden worldwide and are closely watched by governments and non-governmental organizations. If you look globally at the contribution of DALYs from vision loss and blindness, it ranks about 19th in the age group of 50 to 74 and 15th in the 75 plus age group. In terms of age-related hearing loss, their ranking is higher in the overall ranking of diseases. But importantly, if you add vision loss to hearing loss and then look at the ranking, in the 50 to 74-year-old age group, sensory loss ranks 6th. In the age group of 75 plus, it ranks 5th. And in fact, it actually ranks higher than diabetes worldwide. And that's despite a relatively low disability weight used by the GBD. So sensory loss is incredibly important and is high in the disability rankings. I mentioned the epidemiological transition. Here are 3 countries which are along a developmental index which looks at this is the disease burden within each of the countries. And the blue areas are the non-communicable disease burden of the overall disease burden. And so you can see that in Germany, for example, that there's much more blue than there is orange. Orange is the maternal, neonatal, and communicable diseases. And so you can see where China sits in this transition. The majority of the disease burden is non-communicable disease. And of course, most of our vision diseases are within that non-communicable disease burden. So it's increasing as countries move along this transition. We now have over 500 population-based studies, many from China, very high quality studies from China, and these go into the database and they are disaggregated by gender. We can look at changes over time. And we've published that data on December the 1st this year in Lancet Global Health. And these are open access journals, and you can download these papers. What it shows globally is that most of the vision loss burden is within the age group of 50 plus. And it's more common in women than in men. A really interesting finding was that in East Asia, the age standardized prevalence of blindness has reduced by almost 30%. And you've seen the slides from Professor Wang-Ning Li. You can see the enormous interventions that have occurred over the last few decades. Importantly though, the moderate and severe vision impairment prevalence has increased over that time. And we suspect that's probably due to myopia or contributed by the myopia epidemic. If you look at the millions of people affected by different causes for East Asia, this is principally Chinese data. And this shows that the uncorrected refractive error is still the biggest contributor, followed by cataract, and then these other disease groups. This is a busy slide, but what it shows is that the age standardized prevalence by cause has reduced for blindness for all causes except for diabetic retinopathy. So we're seeing that there's been an increase of 45% in age standardized prevalence of diabetic retinopathy related blindness over this period of time. So that remains a really important challenge, as Professor Wang outlined. So just to summarize, the Vision Loss Expert Group is an important international collaboration supporting the Global Burden of Disease study, but also the WHO and the IAPB. Despite the low disability weight, sensory loss, when you combine vision loss with hearing loss, is extremely important and high in the rankings. And we continue to collate this data, and we're funded for several more years to provide data for supporting important visualization projects also, such as Vision Atlas, which you'll hear about in just a moment. Women are more affected by blindness, and all 4 causes except diabetic retinopathy show the reduction of age-standardized prevalence of blindness over that period of time. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Rupert, and ni hao, and hello to everybody online today. Thank you for the invite to present at this very important meeting today, and I'm really feel privileged to be presenting with such esteemed colleagues. It's lovely to see so many familiar faces online joining us, and I'd like to also extend my congratulations to Professor Wang Ningli and the team, both on the Vision 2020 achievements that China has achieved, which are remarkable and speak for themselves, and also the hard work that's gone into developing the next white paper for the next 5 years. I'm really delighted to be able to present on the Vision Atlas today. As Rupert mentioned, the Vision Atlas was started with the Vision Loss Expert Group to be able to make all the important eye health data evidence available for everyone, everywhere, in an easy way to understand and easy way to present to the people that it needs to be presented to. I'm very privileged to work with a wonderful group of researchers, advocacy and communication specialists to be able to put the Vision Atlas together. So I'm going to walk you through some of the Vision Atlas, what you can find on it, and some of the China data. So the Vision Atlas is more than just the latest data and evidence. That is there, but we also endeavour to tell the narrative and the key messages, which tells the story behind the numbers. It also has links to presenting solutions and best practice in eye care. And most importantly, the Vision Atlas is a powerful tool to fight to redress inequalities in eye health and vision. It's used often as an advocacy tool from the global level, regional and country levels. It's used as a planning tool to be able to plan eye health services with governments, local governments and organisations. Importantly, especially as we embark on a new period, it's used to monitor progress. And most often people use it in presentations to any of these groups or funders, media, supporters and other stakeholders. So the Vision Atlas is built on the most robust data that we have in eye health. The primary source we have is the Vision Loss Expert Group, and for the 2020 data, that means the 2 papers that Rupert has just presented on. There's also evidence taken from the World Report on Vision, from the indicators and the monitoring data from the Global Action Plan, which will be available very soon. And with the upcoming publication of the Lancet Global Commission on Eye Health, there will be further data from that source. So just to note that some of the features I'm showing you today will be available over the coming months and will launch in February next year. Some of them are there and some are a preview. So the key headline statistic on the Vision Atlas is 1.1 billion people live with vision loss. And I put that slide in because being so involved in the sector, we've seen this number quite a number of times. But I think it's important to stop and ponder it and think about it and think about the context of everything we present in this enormous, staggering number. So the Vision Atlas, the interactive maps are a huge feature of the Vision Atlas. We have the wonderful papers that are published in the Lancet, but for those that aren't scientists, researchers, or come from a background where they can read the publications, they can be hard to read. So for people that would like to present data in a visual way, where you can easily compare regions, countries, or super regions, the maps allow you to compare the regions and look at the data over time from up to 2020, look at age standard prevalence, crude prevalence, or the actual numbers that are impacted. You can have a look by mild, moderate to severe, or blind in terms of categories of vision loss. And you can look at the different age groups. As Rupert was presenting the 50 plus data, you can also get the all ages data, and you can also look by gender. So it enables you to look at the big picture, but then also look for specific data that you need in your area of work. There's also the ability to view data as you like it, to be able to compare at a bigger detail the causes, regions, and analysis over time. So there's simple ways to just take some of the top findings from the papers. And then there are what we are calling the breakdown charts, where you will be able to select different filters to be able to analyze the data as you like by year, location, time, and cause. And this is just another sample where I've chosen East Asia as the example, and you can have a look at vision loss caused by refractive errors in East Asia over the time from 1990 to 2020. There's also a feature that's coming actually this week, which we are calling dashboards. There are dashboards at the Global Burden of Disease super region, and country levels. And this will allow you to have like you can see on the screen, a snapshot which tells you a little background data around the population and important statistics around the region or country. And then it will start to take you down the page into choosing a breakdown chart data, national indicators that come from the Global Action Plan, explain the VLEG studies that have been included in that region, and also where there are IAPP members in that country, you'll be able to see who is working there. And the next slide shows an example of the national indicators. These are the latest national indicators available on the Vision Atlas for China. And you can have a look down the cataract surgery rate, the HR numbers, the data and data that's been collected, and the national eye health plans as well. And in addition to that, as I said earlier, it tells the story. So you'll be able to read the story around the magnitude, the projections to 2050, and particularly the inequality story. And I saw a question come up on the chat earlier about why women have a greater burden of vision loss. I'm not going to go into it now. You can find it on the Vision Atlas, but there are links there to the evidence behind that and some of the information that you can find there. And another area of inequality is, as pointed out, that 64% of all people with vision loss in the world live in the South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia and Oceania region, in large part because of the numbers that are in China, the population in China. The last, or not the last section, but the other sections on the Vision Atlas are around the impact that vision loss has on an individual, communities, and development as a whole, and links to the Sustainable Development Goals, and also the solutions drawing on the WHO work and some work that is yet to be published in the Lancet Global Commission for Eye Health. So this area particularly will be coming in February next year. So I'd just like to acknowledge a wonderful team of people and experts that contribute to the Vision Atlas as the reference committee, the Vision Loss Expert Group, and the IAPB communications team who have worked extremely hard to pull the Vision Atlas together. And we really endeavour that over the next, in the future, that the Vision Atlas is a live, updatable document, living online tool that we will all be contributing data to going forward. We'd also like to thank the Vision Atlas sponsors, without whom we wouldn't be able to get the Vision Atlas up. So a big thanks to all our sponsors. And I'd like to thank you for listening today, and I invite you all to explore the Vision Atlas today, but please come back and join us when we launch all the features in February next year. Thank you so much, and congratulations again on the release of the white paper.
Thank you so much, Jude, and also thank you to Professor Rupert Bourne. It's really terrific to start to see that picture of how all the pieces, the data, the information, how it all comes together through the VLEG data, but also through the Vision Atlas, and especially flowing on from Professor Wang Ning Li's presentation. We now have a very special guest with us this afternoon, Professor Dennis Lam. Many of you will know Professor Dennis Lam as a key ophthalmic leader in Asia. He's the former president of APAO, and he's also, of course, the president of Project Vision Charitable Foundation. Professor Lam is with us this evening to present on the topic of from blindness prevention to eye health promotion. So please join me in welcoming him to the Zoom podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my happiest congratulations to Professor Wan-Ling Lee for his very well-deserved award, and also the remarkable achievement in terms of preventing and treating blindness in China. Over the past decades, I have the privilege to participate in a few eye-related charity projects in China. So I would like to share a small story about a litter of piggies. About 20 years ago, I met a 4-year-old boy and their parents in a charity project in rural China. They were very sad because many doctors who have seen the boy before told them that there was no cure for the boy's eye disease. After the examination, I told them that the boy had cataract and could be treated with modern surgery. There was a good chance for the boy to see again. The whole family was so happy and excited. But in a matter of seconds, the faces of the parents turned worry. The father asked, "Can the surgery be postponed for 4 months?" Alisa, Sorry, I have a little bit of technical. I don't have 跟住點咁，每一次都係要咁啊。
Are you okay, Professor Lam, or do you need any help? Because Rob is here to support you if you need it.
Because I have to click here and there.
Okay. Well, so Professor Lam, if you get it, let us know which slide you would like us to share. We can always help you with that. If you'd just like to unmute yourself at the moment, Professor Lam, then we can just check if we can support you. Professor Lam, you're muted at the moment.
Yeah, because of the technical thing, maybe I ask you help me to advance the slide.
Not a problem. So each time you want to say, just ask Rob to move slide. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Sorry for that. So although I would not charge anything for the surgery, they simply could not afford the money for the intraocular lens. Therefore, they requested to postpone the surgery till the most valuable assets at home, a litter of piggies, could grow bigger and sell for more money to pay for the intraocular lens. I was really shocked. And finally, the surgery was done totally free on the same day. When the eye patch was removed the next day, the boy could see the birds over the trees from far away. The whole family burst into tears. Next, please. So this was China 20 years ago, when the right to sight was much stricken by poverty. Next. So I will be touching a little bit about cataract blindness, trachoma blindness, and then diabetic retinopathy, myopia, and the role of private sectors in terms of eye health in China. Next. Preventing and treating cataract blindness, I think in China, because of big gap of medical resources between cities and villages in China. Next. So the challenge is particularly huge. But next. I think Professor Wen has already presented to you about this spectacular outcome. So in terms of the CSR from 450 in 2007 to 2205 in 2017, it's about 5 times increase. And now most of the county level hospital is able to do independent cataract surgeries. Next. So I think we have to say that the result is really very pleasing and remarkable. This could be done because of the great effort as well as the leadership of the government, and then with joint hands from various sectors, including private hospitals and charity projects. Next. Regarding charity projects, next, as I mentioned, I have this privilege to participate in the can I get back? So the first one I would like to say is this, get back please, is the Site First China Action. So we have to give special merit to the two gentlemen. Forward please. Forward please. So we have to give a special merit to Mr. Tan Minggen and Mr. Paul Fan. These two gentlemen initiated the project and raised a lot of money and convinced the International Alliance to do these 2 5-year plans in China. The other one is Lifeline Express. It's the first eye hospital train, was a gift to China from Hong Kong to celebrate the return of the sovereignty in 1997. So this is the initiative of Mrs. Nadia Fong, fully supported by Mr. Sich Tong, our Chief Executive of Hong Kong, and the Ministry of Health of China. So, you know, they have done over 200,000 free cataract surgeries and trained a number of people. Next. Project Vision was initiated by me in 2004. We have the concept that if you give a man a fish, he will have it for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he will have it for a lifetime. So we make raise donation in Hong Kong, and then set up charity eye units, and then train the local doctors. So the local doctors will never need to leave the place. So the project could become sustainable in terms of a medical team. And then we charge a course. So it's affordable, but we do not need to raise further funding to make the project sustainable. Next. So we have 31 charity eye units with over 180,000 cataract surgeries done and trained a number of doctors. So this is a sustainable model. Next. That in 2009, I have the privilege being a deputy of the National People's Congress representing Hong Kong. So I have the privilege to meet with the Minister of Health. So I proposed to him that the Project Vision model is a nice one because it's sustainable, and also you have the training component. So he heard about this, and he's very supportive of this, and then he made instant endorsement saying that this should be done. So in March, we talk about this, and then in April, already implemented. So you can see that this is a country-wise, the whole country was doing that. And then in China, when things have been done, has been decided, it could be done in a very fast manner. So this is the million free cataract surgery for the poor people. Next. So it's because of the able leadership of the government and the joint efforts of all sectors involved. Cataract blindness is under reasonable control in China now. Next. So trachoma blindness was very prevalent in the 40s and 50s. Next. And was once the leading cause of blindness in China, but with due effort of the government, trachoma blindness was eliminated in China in 2015. Next. So trachoma blindness eliminated, cataract blindness under good control. So where we are, the next focus, the new focus is prevent blindness related to change of lifestyle, diabetic retinopathy, myopia, etc. Next. Diabetic blindness is a worldwide problem, especially in the Western and developed countries. But in China, actually, we are facing a huge challenge. The prevalence of diabetic is, over 10%. And then diabetic retinopathy is talking about 21 to 36%. Next. Next, oh no, sorry. So in terms of preventing this, we have to know the characteristics of diabetic retinopathy. It's very common. It can cause blindness, and then it's detectable and treatable. Next. So we can prevent diabetic blindness from having proper education, early screening, and timely laser treatment. Next. So again, in China, because of the big gap of medical resources between villages and cities, we have to make use of the latest IT technology. Next. And next. So by making proper use of AI, big data, and 5Gs, we will be able to do early screening and detection in large scale. And also we can have good training courses and even remote controlled surgery. Next. So I think with that, we should be able to, with good attention, good awareness, and then proper treatment, diabetic blindness in China is our new target, but should be able to be taken care of. But myopia, we have talked a lot about today by other speakers. So we are having this global epidemic of myopia. And China is facing a real challenge. Why? Because China's is more prone to myopia when compared to that of the Caucasians. And number two, we have the biggest myopia population, and also the preference for high myopia is also quite high. Next. So for high myopia, the problem next is myopic macular degeneration. Yeah, so this MMD, myopia, get back please. Yeah. The myopia macular degeneration can cause blindness, and in China, there's a study showing that the leading cause of unilateral and bilateral visual impairment in China, we are talking about in China, in the age group of 45 to 59, they are the #1 cause. So I think it's important to tell us that in China, we have a higher percentage of high myopia, and then this has already caused significant visual impairment. Next. So the challenge is really huge. Fortunately, this has got the attention from our top leaders, President Xi, to all the departments. So I think the control of myopia is the mission in focus. So, you know, never in the past that 8 national ministries and departments joined hands to develop the strategy as well as the actions and measures to control myopia. From family, the parents, next, school teachers, medical and health workers, and students themselves, next. So just look at the theme of the China National Sight Day. We know that we are putting really top priority and focus. Next. So activities from cities, next, all the way to villages, are really all over China. Next, I think it's because we have a joint action. Next. We have a good strategy. We have good 5- and 10-year plans. So I think the chance of containing or controlling myopia is very hopeful. But now we are facing this COVID-19 pandemic. The control is, you know, more difficult because of the lockdown, because of the less outdoor activities and the more screen time. Fortunately, COVID-19 in China is very well controlled, and the school activities in China has returned to normal. Next. Lastly, it's just a few words about the private sector. So the Ministry of Health in China has put these healthcare reforms in. One of the focus is to provide more private sector healthcare to the people in China. So in Hong Kong, we have the dual system. Similarly, in Singapore, they also have that. We have a good balance between the public and the private sectors. Next. So the advantages of such dual system is that we can reduce the overloaded patient burden in public sectors, and the government subsidies can go to those who are really in need, and then provide options for patients, and competition can bring forth improvements. Next. So if we look at the number, when we have more private hospitals, the percentage of patient load in the public hospital is getting less. Next. So this is, I think, good for patients, good for those working in the health sectors. So Regarding the role of private sectors for eye health, I think they have really good roles to play, from cataract surgeries, myopia prevention and treatment, diabetic retinopathy screening and laser treatment, the general eye health, so on and so forth. So next, I would like to just sum up my presentation in saying that 20 years ago, people had to wait for the PEGI's treatment will enable us to enjoy healthy vision. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Professor Lam, for joining us this evening. It was a terrific presentation. We now have a very special video presentation that has been prepared by many of our eminent colleagues in China. It's called An Outlook on the 14th Five-Year National Eye Health Plan. Please enjoy.
In 2014, the surgery coverage rate was 62.7%, and in 2020, it will be exceed 70%. Currently, 19% of counties own ophthalmic healthcare facility to independently carry out cataract surgeries, which become the solid foundations of timely treatment for cataract patients.
With the aging of population, the spectrum of ocular diseases has been changed in China. And the blindness caused by cataract is slowly decreasing. But the diabetic retinopathy, age-related macular diseases, RAO, has been increasing rapidly.
In particular, diabetes-related eye disease have become the #1 cause of blindness in the working population. In 2019, the number of diabetes patients in China had reached 116 million, about 1/3 of them suffering from diabetic retinopathy. different degrees.
Meanwhile, the aging population has also exacerbated the burden of age-related eye disease. For example, the number of patients with age-related macular degeneration has doubled since 1990, reaching 26.65 million in 2015 and is likely to increase to 55.90 million in 2050, which poses an enormous threat to the eyesight of the elderly.
The population glaucoma patient in my country also very large. There are about 22 million patients in China, and it is still growing. Eventually, glaucoma could lead to blindness and cannot be reversed. Glaucoma has caused a serious burden of the disease to the Chinese residents. The loss of healthy lifespan of Chinese residents due to glaucoma has reached 103.8 thousand years.
Chinese ophthalmologists have been working hard to promote preparation technology to treat glaucoma for a long time, with the notable achievements. The blindness rate caused by angle glaucoma in China have dropped from the 50% in 1999 to 36% in 2010. However, compared to developing countries, there is still some room for the further decline.
Eye fungus diseases greatly affect patients' daily activities. Many of them no longer go outside, read newspapers, work, or exercise. About 30 to 40% of patients with fungus diseases thus suffer from depression and anxiety of different stages.
Vision loss is the most frightening disability. In the view of many patients, the loss of hearing and speaking ability is acceptable. But being blind is barely tolerable, which deprives them from everything in their lives.
The quality of life of glaucoma patients is far lower than that of normal people, as well as patients with ametropia, cataracts, or retinal disease.
Taking advantage of the optimal time window to treat fundus disease is crucial to the outcome. Without treatment, for example, more than 50% of patients with severe proliferative diabetic retinopathy will become blind within 5 years. And 25% of patients with diabetic macular edema will experience visual loss in 3 years.
Currently, the awareness of fundus disease is very insufficient. The actual diagnosis rate and treatment rate are both very low. 67% of the diabetic patients has never undergone ocular screening. Meantime, the awareness of age-related macular degeneration in the general public is as low as 6.8%. The screening rate and the treatment rate of fundus disease are both very low. That's why irreversible visual impairment can be caused in the late stage.
Similarly, the lack of awareness of glaucoma is common in general. In developed countries such as the US, the UK, and Germany, the awareness rate of glaucoma is more than 72%, but is only 33.4% in China. Under these conditions, only 49% of the patients with angle glaucoma in rural areas of China has been diagnosed and treated. It is imperative to strengthen public health education and raise disease awareness.
in response to the changes in the spectrum of blinding eye diseases in China and the current unmet needs for diagnosis and treatment, it is recommended that glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, and other ocular fundus diseases that could lead to blindness should be included in the fourth 5-year National Eye Health Plan for the primary prevention and control of the eye diseases, as long as including eye health in the overall well-being planning system.
建议政府部门实施不同类型的干预措施，包括面向全人群进行健康教育，确保公众拥有对眼底病的知识，降低高风险人群的比例和眼底病的发病率，同时针对个人建议推出面向全民的眼健康档案，鼓励公众定期做眼部健康检查，将检查结果记录在档案中，实现早发现、早干预、早治疗。
With fundus photography, eye disease can be detected at an early stage. 80% of the eye disease which can lead to blindness are preventable, countable, and treatable, among which 80% can be detected in advance by fundus examination. International cost-effectiveness analysis also reveal that eye disease screening is highly cost-effective.
It is recommended that key populations of eye disease prevention and control, such as middle-aged and elderly people over 50, take fundus photos once a year, so that the eye diseases which are preventable, controllable, and treatable can be detected and treated immediately. For example, diabetic retinopathy is known as the first preventable fundus disease to cause blindness. Early screening, regular follow-up, and laser and anti-VEGF treatment can effectively avoid blindness and visual impairment. Therefore, combining fundus photography with chronic disease management can not only promote chronic disease management through eye disease management, but also provide a monitoring window for chronic disease management and truly achieve the integration of eye health and general well-being.
Institutions. Anti-VEGF therapy as one of the effective treatments for ocular fundus disease is recommended to be used in secondary hospitals.
To improve diagnosis and treatment ability of fundus diseases in China, it is recommended to strengthen the construction of ophthalmology and ophthalmology team at a primary level, and to extend coverage of basic treatment of fundus diseases to primary health care facilities with comprehensive reimbursement.
Early screening, early diagnosis, and early treatment.
empower Chinese eye health.
Friends, what a brilliant presentation. We now are lucky enough to have a few minutes left for questions. So I would like to hand over to the Fred Hollows Foundation Country Manager, Ms. Amanda Huang, who has been curating questions in the background for us. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome everyone to the panel discussion session. We are delighted to have three distinguished panelists today joining us. They are Professor Liang Xiaoling, Deputy Director of Zhongshan Ophthalmic Center, Ms. Ingrid Zhang, President of Novartis Pharmaceutical China, and Professor Sun Xinhuai, President-elect of Chinese Ophthalmological Society. So now I'd like to extend the first question to Professor Liang. Professor Liang, what role has National Key Laboratory played in blindness prevention and eye health promotion in China?
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Professor Lingli Wang, and all the distinguished guests and ladies. Can you hear, Amanda?
Yes, very clearly. Thank you.
Okay. Zhongshan Ophthalmic Center is the host of State Key Laboratory of Ophthalmology, the only one of its kind in China. By conducting a series of epidemiologic studies, SK-Lo monitors the main causes and changes of major blindness eye disease, with the ultimate goal to support the formulation of eye health policy and promote universal eye health. One of our output is to identify etiologies and to propose appropriate prevention and treatment of common eye disease and major blindness disease. For example, we have found out outdoor activity can effectively control myopia, the use of the nanosteroid and lens regeneration to treat cataract. Then, through clinical trials, we validate the efficacy of the treatment so as to promote new drug translation and bring actual patient benefit. SK-Lo explored the current blindness sport of eye disease detection, such as using behavior assessment to detect visual loss so as to tiny children blindness. I would say SK-Lo serves as a scientific incubator of blindness prevention and eye health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Liang. The second question I'd like to extend to Ms. Ingrid Zhang, President of Novartis Pharmaceuticals China. Ms. Zhang, what role do you think the medical and health enterprise will play in promoting the implementation of eye health planning in China so as to accelerate the implementation of various eye health programs that benefits patients with eye disease in China?
Thank you, Amanda, for the question. And Distinguished Chairman, Professor Wang Yingli, thank you for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to join this group of distinguished professors to talk about how collectively we can do better for Chinese patients. I'd like to make 3 points. The first one is, I think regardless of Chinese government, ophthalmologists, other important experts and stakeholders in the ecosystem, or Novartis, a pharma company, I think we share the common goal. I think we are fully committed to improving the health of eye, so patients can live longer and see better and live a better life. And the second point is, as you may know, Novartis, we are an innovation-based company. Our mission is to improving and extending patient lives. And ophthalmology and eye care is important of our disease focus. And whether it's from small molecules, biologics, or gene therapies, and we're fully committed to actually to continue to spend and invest in R&D so we can have better therapies to combat the changing spectrum of eye disease. And I also want to make the point that I heard Professor Lam's point, it's not just the availability of the therapy or devices, it also has to do with affordability and the ease of administration. So for that, we Novartis is fully committed. I think maybe the third point is, I think, I feel a huge responsibility to work with government, leading experts, other stakeholders in ecosystem, so we can collectively address the overall process of this. I think I just want to echo what Professor Wang Yingli has highlighted. We've got to strengthen policy, set up the right policy. We've got to broadening the screening, as well as strengthening the primary care facility, because many of the patients actually, China has 600 million patients living in counties. And so together, we Novartis has a very broad footprint, whether it's in large hospitals, community healthcare facilities, as well as in county hospitals or retail facilities. And we're very willing to commit our resources and our know-how. So collectively, we can improving the screening, diagnosis, and treatment of these eye diseases. Again, noticing that we have actually, with an increasing focus on glaucoma as well as fundus diseases, so collectively, patients can see better and live better. So that is my commitment, and on behalf of Novartis. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ms. Zhang. And the third question, I'd like to invite Professor Sun Xinhuai, President-elect of Chinese Ophthalmological Society, to answer. But Professor Sun sent his apology of not being able to join us lively today, as he is now on the train journey. However, he has prepared a pre-recorded video to share with us. So the question to Professor Sun is, what roles has COS played in eye health promotion in China, and what's the next step for COS with the 14th five-year coming ahead? So let's watch the video from Professor Sun.
Congratulations on the global launch of the white paper on eye health in China. I think as the most important professional ophthalmology academic organization in China, the Chinese Ophthalmology Society will give full play to the academic advantages of ophthalmology in promoting eye health in China. Work with all parties in the society to implement the blindness prevention work of China's 14th five-year plan and improve the people's life quality. Better vision, better life.
Thanks very much, Professor Sun, for preparing the video for our event. And we also have some time to invite one question from the audience. So there is one question from audience to Professor Wanning Li, and the audience is asking what strategies are being used to control myopia nationwide in China. So Professor Wang, may I invite you to answer the questions? Thank you.
I love to answer the questions because we have so big numbers of the myopia in China. So that is something the most of the public people concerned. So for the myopia control, the first things first is the behavior change. So that is the most of the job should be put on the schools. The school have to reduce the burden of the reading and the writing on our students. And the second thing is the government have to force the Department of the Education to change the policy of the entrance examination and the criteria of the entrance of the university. So if we make the new policies to encourage the student to do more sports activities, reduce the burden of the writing and reading, that will be functional actions. And secondly, from the medical aspect, I would like to see some kind of device, some drug really help for the reduce the progressions of the myopia, just like the also keratology and the atropine, lower concentration atropine. Yeah, that is we have a strong evidence to support that is benefits for the stop the progression of the myopia. So we need the more studies to get the new device, new drugs to help to the myopia control. Finally, first things first, to change our behaviors, to change our policy, to help the myopia control in our missions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Wang. And due to the time limited, there are also a few questions comes through, but we cannot answer it. Hopefully we can continue the communication offline. Once again, thank you for all our panelists. Back to you, Drew, now.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you to our distinguished panelists, and a thank you, of course, to all of our guest speakers this afternoon, this evening. I mentioned earlier that in the Western Pacific region, we have 35 plus countries and territories. And of those 35 plus countries and territories, the vast majority do not have a single national eye plan. So it's particularly impressive that China is closing out on its 13th five-year plan and about to embark on its 14th five-year plan. It's very impressive, and it is a sign of leadership within the region, actually with leadership globally. So I would like to congratulate the members of the National Committee for the Prevention of Blindness in China for producing this fantastic white paper on eye health in China. It has been our privilege to be your co-hosts this afternoon here at IAPB to bring you today's event. Thank you again to all of the panelists. Thank you particularly to Professor Wang-Ning Lee for helping us to organize this event. Thank you to the people who worked tirelessly behind the scenes in Professor Wang-Ning Lee's office, particularly to Mayanur Yusufu, particularly to Dr. Hu. Thank you to Amanda Huang, who has helped us with the questions. And I would also like to thank the team at the IAPB events who are based in London, who have brought us today's webinar. Of course, none of this would be possible without the wonderful friendships and partnerships that have been established between China and many of us from all around the world. And so thank you also to all of the attendees and who have made today possible. It's been great to share a couple of hours with you at the end of what has been a very interesting and very challenging year. I look forward to seeing you all, I hope, face to face in 2021. Thank you again for being with us.